Hello everyone. So friends, in our last lecture we saw the SPY test double. So in this section of course we will discuss about the mock test double. So friends, what do we mean by mock? So here basically mock works very similar to SPY. One that it also has the behavior verification capability. That is, mock object records the method calls on it and verifies later that the recorded calls match. So it is very much similar to the SPY, with the only difference is the assert and behavior verification, which we actually do at the test layer, is usually done at the mock object. So the mock object keeps a track of the behavior verification, and it basically helps us in doing the behavior verification by capturing the interaction made on it. So here if you see that if you want to test book service class, we simply replace the book repository, which actually talks to the database, with a book repository mock. Now this mock has behavior verification capability, which is very similar to SPY, but with only difference is that test will call some methods on book repository mock to do the behavior verification after performing the actions. So let's say book service calls any particular method on book repository. So instead of going to this book repository, the call will go to book repository mock. It will store the interactions made on a particular method called on book repository, and after it gets called, from our test we'll call yet another method in book repository mock, which will help us in verification that the method which is called previous to that was actually being called. So we'll see that how mock help us in doing the unit testing of book service by completely replacing the book repository class. Now let's go to IntelliJ and see the demo of mock test double without Mockito. Hello everyone. So friends, in our previous lecture we saw the demonstration of SPY test double. Now we'll see the demonstration of mock test double. So as we discussed, this mock works very similar to SPY. In our main Java, we'll create a package test_doubles.mock, and here what we'll do, we'll simply copy all these three stuff to mock package. So here the mock test double works exactly the same as SPY. It provides us a behavior verification capability. So we'll see that how it provides a behavior verification capability and let us know about this save execution when we actually call the addBook method of the book service class. So here in our test folder, create a package as test_double.mock. We'll simply copy these two stuffs here and we'll rename book repository SPY to book repository mock. And we'll also rename SPY test to, let's say, mock test. So here in mock test there is one method, demo SPY. We'll rename it to demo mock. And here if you see that instead of SPY now we are using the mock. So there is a basic difference between SPY and mock. So the mock test double works exactly the same as SPY test double, with the only difference is the behavior verification is done at the mock. So here we'll simply remove this stuff. So here in our test, in order to demonstrate mock, what we did, we created a book repository mock, which is exactly the same what we saw in our SPY. Now with only difference here is we remove these methods, and here we call addBook, we pass book 1, book 2. But instead of doing the behavior verification in this test class, we give this responsibility to mock to do the behavior verification. So here what we do is, we provide a method as, let's say we give name as verify. Now what this method takes is, so here if you see, then we are simply creating one basic use case to how to use mock. In real life, if you are creating your own mocks, then it can get very complex. So here we are simply passing the book and the number of times this save was called. And here we are simply providing assert equals save called. Like this. So here you can see that all the behavior verification responsibility is with the mock itself. So this can make our test very clean. So here what we can do is, after adding these two books, here we know that if we go to book service, if the book price is greater than 400, we will be simply returning from this add book method and the save will not be called. So here when we call add book with book 1, so it will simply return, and when we'll call add book with book 2, save will be called. Now let's see how mock helps us in verifying this stuff, that whether the save was called or not. So here what we can do is, we can do book repository mock. We can call the verify, and here you can see that the last added book was book 2. So we can pass book 2. And we provide an expectation that when we did add book with book 1, it should have been returned without incrementing the count. And when we do add book with book 2, the save should have been called and it would have increment the count by 1. So we are simply verifying it with 1, that the save would have been called 1 time. So if I run the test case, so here you can see the test case got executed successfully. And here you can see verified all the stuff at its own end here. And that made our test case very clean, because we simply called the verify. We passed in the last added thing and the number of times the save would have been called on that mock. So friends, here you can see that this is very similar to the spy we saw. But the only difference here was that all the asserts were made at the test level using the spy, but at the mock had the responsibility to verify the interaction made with it. So friends, this was all about the test doubles without Mockito. So here you can see, as the examples were very small, creating of these mocks, spy, stubs, fake and dummy were very simple. But in real world, creation of those stuffs is a very complex process. So therefore now we'll see that how Mockito comes into picture and help us in creating all these test doubles without having to do much manual coding. I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.